this is crazy. TSA should be allowed to tackle whoever did this. And so then this person is screaming like, oh, what happened? Oh, no. Okay. Then she turns to the line because this is like in between where people drop off their oversized baggage and where the touchless line starts. A line that never goes as far, so it's longer than it's ever been before. And so she's just like, okay, can y'all help me? Turns to the people in touchless line. Can y'all help me? If anybody's passing over here, can y'all just warn them, let them know? I'm gonna go get everything I need to clean this up. So then she walks away, and admittedly, all of us were like, we're probably not gonna do that. No, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just, we probably not. You know, if the line goes, I go. I don't live here, right? And sure enough, because it's frantic and because there's 4 lines, it didn't take long. It took about 20 seconds. And this man over here on his phone too, yelling at somebody. He's like, what's wrong? What are you talking about? What are you talking about the flights at 10? It was supposed to be at 1. I'm at the airport right now. I can't. And drags his suitcase through all of it. And so we as a collective in line turn and we're like, ooh, that is our bad. That's why you shouldn't have trusted me, because I'm over here thinking about other stuff like that. And this woman that works for the airline walks back over. And yells out, what happened? To be fair to her, she was gone for 20 seconds. We let her down immediately. We let her down quick. Because they found what apparently, I don't know this for certain, I'm just reading a bunch of what is being sent out online, some of it from news sources, some of it from like independent journalists and stuff like that. But apparently they have the shooter's manifesto, right? And in the shooter's manifesto, he specifically says who he's targeting in order. And for some reason, he specifically made a point to leave out Kash Patel. No, we should sit with it for a second, because what? Literally the director of the FBI, this dude want to get everybody, and then you have to be doing such a bad job as FBI director for the shooter to be like, you know what, you good where you are, actually. I think honestly you doing more damage here than I ever could, so let's just leave you in. It's wild. Specifically left off Kash Patel. Kash Patel's over there running with Secret Service like he was a target or something. Meanwhile, the shooter's like. And I don't know how much of this is rumor or actually reported, because it's coming in from people who were there, but then it's murky. But there's a world where it looks like what happened is that Kash Patel, running with Secret Service, did leave his girlfriend. Did leave his girl, which blows my mind. This is your girlfriend, Kash. Your girlfriend. It's more surprising that you have a girlfriend than it is that you are the FBI director in Trump's administration. You left your Your girlfriend. This is your shot, man, to have a girlfriend. You left your girlfriend. You weren't even a target, and you left your girlfriend. His girlfriend was in another room, being consoled by another man that was brave enough to stay with her, I guess. Imagine that story. Imagine that story. Mom, Dad, how'd you meet? Well, son, your mother used to be dating a coward, and I used to love those like viral videos of things that were happening on Spirit Airlines. Like, I don't know if y'all remember the possum. All right, I guess a bunch of y'all haven't seen this. Okay, so in the way that a lot of houses that are haunted usually have a bunch of activity in the basement or the attic, there's something about where they would put Spirit in an airport. Let's just say Spirit never had prime real estate in the airport. You would actually get scanned through TSA and then go have to find the Spirit terminal and be like, it's in here, right? Like, be tucked away a little bit. And there was this one time, I don't even remember which airport it was, but there was the Spirit gates corner of the airport, and everybody heard this rumbling. You know, so people waiting to get on their flight and everything, and Spirit is telling them that their flight is late because it is always going to be late. And then from the ceiling, people were hearing. It's one thing to hear noises in a wall. A wall's already terrifying. You could be squirrels, could be a bird in there, nobody knows. The ceiling, if I hear noises above me, I have to leave. And then, out of nowhere, a couple tiles fall from the roof, and a possum falls out of the ceiling, holding on to one cord, trying to gain some leverage back. It's holding on like this. And in the end, because here's the thing, whenever there's a wild animal doing something where they're not supposed to, right? I experience this with rats in New York all the time. When you see rats on the tracks and there's a distance, there's like a barrier there where you can just watch them and it's not that big of a deal. When you see the possum hanging from what probably are some pretty important wires. I'm no electrician, but anytime I'm in a building and I see wires, I'm like, I bet they're supposed to be there. I bet you these wires do something. I don't think they just lay down extra for decoration inside the insulation. And so this possum is hanging on. He couldn't get the other leg up, so he's hanging like this. And people are recording and just watching, completely fascinated. Until finally, the possum can't hold on anymore, and he drops to the ground. As soon as he drops to the ground, pandemonium. It's like, as soon as he drops to the ground, chaos. As soon as the thing drops to the ground, first of all, it hit way harder than I thought. Possums must be much heavier than I thought they were. Even the possums I've encountered, I've been like, all right, it's nimble, so I always assume nimble is light. But this thing, it just slammed. I was surprised it didn't knock itself out because it slammed the ground. Everybody heard the thud, and then even the gate agents hopped the desk. They were like, ah! Imagine you late now. Flight taking off late.
And people will call it, because they'll call the other airport. You know, people get in trouble when the flight's late for no reason. They call them, why is your flight late? Why haven't you departed yet? And now you got to explain that there's a possum wreaking havoc at gate 47. We don't know where he is right now, all right? He could be anywhere. He could be behind us right now.
I'm gonna tell you a story. I got invited to a party, which was big for me, okay? I don't get invited to a lot of parties, all right? I get there, I didn't know there would be hard drugs at this party, you know? And like, I don't judge or anything. It's just that someone offered me heroin, right? Like, here's the hierarchy for me, is that like weed, everybody understands weed, whatever, you know what I mean? Cocaine, you're living on the edge. Crack, you've made a mistake. But no one doing heroin has a 5-year plan, no one, okay? If you do heroin, you either play the guitar really well or you just have a lot of feelings. I don't know what to say about you. So he offered me heroin like it was normal, and I didn't want to not seem cool, but I didn't want to take the heroin. And so he passed it to me, and I was like, no thanks, man. I am stuffed. I could not have any more heroin today. I have had my fill. I am good. Thank you. I live in New York now. I moved to New York from Chicago, and I wasn't ready. Lots of things I was not ready for. One was the rats. I don't know if you guys have rats here, but no one has rats like New York, because the rest of the world's rats have shame. I saw a rat inside, all right, and he saw me see him, and instead of scurrying away, he was just like, what's up, dog? Like, that's, what is that? What is the, and I'm 800 times bigger than him. I could step on him and kill him, and he was like, but you won't, though. Like, that, I'd never been more scared. I saw, my friend got a cat, and was like, it's so great. She eats all the, she eats little roaches. She might even get after a rat. The cat was scared of the rat. The cat was like, I'm fine. I'm gonna get on this ledge and wait for him to leave, all right? It was devastating. The other thing I wasn't ready for was the third graders. I don't know what it is about being born and raised in Brooklyn or the Bronx that makes you such a natural bully, but they're monsters, okay? They're little terrorists, all right? I'm more scared of third graders now than I was in third grade. I actually asked to get off work early so I could make sure I was in my house when they got out of school, because I didn't want to run into them anymore. They're little monsters. Like, I was just walking down the street, and one was like, hey, hey. First of all, too much bass for a third grader, all right? I turned around, almost called him sir by accident. I didn't know who was talking to me. I turned, he's like, hey. What's up, bird shoulders? I don't know what that means. But I went home and cried afterward. You ever have someone make fun of you and you don't even get it, but it hits such a core part of who you are that you get hurt anyway? Like, I was sitting, my body hasn't changed since it happened. I probably still have bird shoulders. I have no idea what it is. I have a lot of fears since I'm little, you know? I'm scared of a lot of things. My biggest fear above like rats or third graders or anything else is just finding a dead white girl. In fact, I think that's why there's no black ghost hunters, because we don't want to come in a room and just, I'm too black to just find her. There's gonna be an investigation. There's gonna be leads, okay? People are gonna be calling in. They're gonna use a picture of me on the news. It's not gonna be a good one. It's not gonna be a picture with me looking like the first picture day or something. It's gonna be me stubbing my toe like, and you're gonna see that on the news and be like, he did it, look at him. Who smiles bottom teeth first? He is a murderer. In fact, I'm so scared that I would walk in, see her dead, scream, someone runs in, be like, what did you do? No, that was my scream. That was not her. I know it's hard to believe, but I screamed the way she would have screamed had this been me to her, but please don't. Okay, I'll go to jail now, and I won't last. I had to take a flight. Another fear that's creeping towards the top of the list is tiny planes. You know, I had to take a tiny plane. I didn't think it would be a big deal. It only seated 8 people. It's the tiniest plane I've ever been on. And it was so small that there was no cockpit. So I could see the captain and the co-pilot. I could hear both of them. At one point during the flight, the captain was like, whoa! I was like, what? Oh my God, what? No, don't act like I can't hear you, sir. We're talking right now, okay? Do I need to get up and head? Don't tell me to sit down. I can't stand up. The plane's not that big. And I should have known something was wrong because I got to the gate and they wanted to weigh my carry-ons. Which never happens. But I was like, fine, backpack's 13 pounds, laptop's 4 pounds with the case. And then they were like, how much do you weigh? And I was like, how small is the plane? How small is the plane? You need to know my 125-pound body weighs 125 pounds. And then I get to the plane, I'm like, that makes sense. Okay, fair enough. It's the smallest plane I've ever been on. And like, it took, like this plane, I know it's not nice, I know it's not kind, but like, I was the youngest person on this flight by far. Everyone else was 80 and up. So a real thought I had on the flight was, this is heaven's waiting room. I gotta get out of here. This is terrible. She already looked dead. Her soul just had to step out to get to heaven. I wanna be up here with people dying. And you know that overhead compartment that's supposed to drop an air mask if there's too much turbulence? That's not there at all. It's just little Bibles fall out because you're gonna die. So you might as well get a verse in or something. You're dead, okay? It was terrible. And like, we were flying, and like I was having these heart palpitations and everything. I didn't know if I would last or anything. And then I don't know how planes work, okay? I can't pretend. I'm not a genius, all right? But at least the big planes take off right away. It took this little plane so long to take off, I thought we were gonna drive there. This plane is actually leaving the ground and coming back down and leaving the ground and coming back down to the point where I looked at the pilot and I was like, do we all need to jump at the same time? What's gonna keep me in the air? I just wanna get to the place, please. Guys, I'm Josh Johnson. Thanks so much. You have a great night. Appreciate it.